Torah, Parshas Tisa, page 172. We didn't learn too much yesterday inside. Okay, we started the Maimer Zayitnu. Okay, we're like 12 lines into the Maimer. Yesterday we got off about Hashem hiding behind the curtain, not a curtain, yes a curtain, with all that stuff. Okay, so the Alter Rebbe explains that every single Jew has inheritance from above of love and fear, Ava and Yira. But he said, which corresponds, because there's four things he says. There's Ava, Yira, Torah, Mitzvahs, corresponding with the four letters of Hashem's name. So then the Alter Rebbe started explaining there's two levels, two definitions of the word V'yahavta. In Shema, when it says V'yahavta, one is you should love, and one is that you will love. And he says, what is the mitzvah? He says the first Ava is meditation. Meditating into the way Hashem, the seven heavens and earth, and the only thing that exists, no difference before, no difference after, like we went into this whole thing yesterday. Okay, we'll start, let's see, 10 lines into the Maimer. Behind Lahav, what is the meditation? Lahav and B'dai Tachdusi is Baruch. So these we learned already, but we'll go quick. To understand with your intelligence, that Hashem in the seven heavens and earth, in the four directions of the world. Hashem doesn't change. There's no change in Hashem. Just like Hashem, before the world was created, was the only existence. Because all the world are realistically bottled to Hashem. And that's where we left off yesterday. So he says, Ki Yadua, as it's known, the Pasuk says, Ki Shemesh Shumogin. Like the sun, the Pasuk says in Tehillim, David HaMelech says, like the sun and the, you want to call it the ozone layer, whatever you want to call it, around the sun, the blockage of the sun, so is the two names, Havaya and Elokim. So you have the Shemesh shining is Havayut Kivavke, and then you have the level of Elokim. And he says, even though to us the worlds appear to be real, Shekel Gamor, complete falsehood. Okay? Which means like this. The existence, like we learned in Shekel Gamor, the existence of everything is dependent on the word of Hashem's mouth that keeps it in existence. If that word of Hashem would leave for a second, the world wouldn't exist anymore. That means it's not only that He makes it exist, makes it alive, He actually makes it exist. Unlike a neshama, so to speak, is in certain connection. Neshama in the body, okay? The neshama does not create the body. The neshama gives life to the body. Therefore, when the neshama leaves the body doesn't immediately disintegrate. By Elokus, it's not that Hashem gives life to the world, it's the existence of the world. And he says, we can see it from our own flesh. Just like by a person. When a person thinks something, it happens rarely that a person thinks. It becomes cloud. When you think something, it is completely united with you. There's nobody else here. But then when you speak it, then it becomes nifr mitei yisbarach. Then it becomes separated. Okay? So you have machshava and you have dibur. Machshava is one with the person. Dibur, already the way it's associating with somebody else. And like we learned, the Alter Rebbe explains that why is a person called Adam, Aleph Daled Mem? Aleph stands for Machshava, which is one with the person. Daled is Dibur, speech, and Mem is Maisa, which is action. So why aren't we called Madam, Machshava, Dibur, and Maisa? Why is Machshava called Aleph? So the Alter Rebbe explains because Machshava, and that's why the Gemara says thoughts of sin are even in a certain respect worse than the actual sin. You're not punished because this is an action world. But blemish-wise, a thought of sin is a greater blemish on the neshama than the action of the sin. Why? Because when you can never stop thinking. You can stop talking, you can stop doing, you can never stop thinking. Why? Because thought is called levush hamiyuchad. It's the garment which is one with the neshama. Just like the neshama is always working, so is the machshava. So he says, so just like by a person, there's machshava and dibur. Kain kol ha'elam is kaidem before Hashem created them. But so what happened with creation? Before creation, Hashem didn't speak, and now He spoke. Which means, in the realm of machshava, the world's a mamish one with Hashem. In the world of dibur, vayomer Elokim, then the worlds become a separate entity, because dibur leaves you. Like it says, once you speak it, you can't take it back. What's the expression? Before you speak, you control your words. After you speak, the words control you. Because it's too late, you can't take it back already.
But Hashem's speech and Hashem is one.
Correct, but He's speaking in our terms. Okay, just like dibur is completely bottled to machshava. Which way? Berega echad, in 1 second, you could think in 1 second something that would take who knows how long to say. So the bittul, the valueless of speech compared to machshava is unbelievable. Because one machshava could do what a million diburs could do. What's the expression? A picture is 1,000 words? Because you look at 1 second, and to explain it will take you 1,000 words. Kain kol ha'elam is the same thing, all the worlds. Shem rak dibur echad is which is only one word, b'dvar Hashem, one word. Nimshach mechacham asi yizbarech. Kiriksiv. V'yotze kabarachitza comes out like lightning. This word, u'v'tov v'mechadish b'chol yom Hashem, means creation every day. So the same thing, the gam achad he bought them after they're created. How they ate till HaKadosh Baruch by Hashem, by us, when we speak. This is what the Alter Rebbe explains in Sharach V'Amunah. When we speak, the words leave us. They're not united with us anymore. You can record it. It's not. By Hashem, there's no such thing as something leaving Him. There's nothing leaving Hashem. So Hashem's speech never leaves Him. So it's like the ray of the sun in the sun. That's what it's like. And like it says in Tanya Perikov Aleph. Therefore, Kamei compared to Hashem. Everything is considered null and void. So he's saying, what's this Ahava number 1 of meditation? The meditation is to meditate into the way that all the worlds are nothing compared to Hashem.
So how is constantly speaking?
Yeah.
Why did he say Baal Shama?
Dvarcha nitzav b'shamayim.
We asked this question before. Why did he say Baal Shama, or we should say Baal Shama?
Yeah, good question. But the fact is, he said it originally in the past.
Originally in the
Past.
past.
Not only that, the present is already the past. He said it's already past.
Every moment the present becomes.
So by Hashem, you say Shama.
I can ask another question. Hashem Melech, Hashem Malach.
No, in the level of Malchus, there is time. Yeah.
Okay.
In the level of Malchus, there's taka. That's the only, we learned. The only attribute of Hashem that you find past, present, and future is only by Malchus. It doesn't say anywhere Hashem was Chesed, is Chesed, will be Chesed. Was Gvura, is Gvura, will be Gvura. The only level, which by the way, you've said many times, there's no such pasuk, Hashem Melech, Hashem Malach, Hashem Yimlech, Lon Void. There's a 3 psukim. One pasuk says Hashem Melech, another pasuk says Hashem Malach, and the third pasuk in Az Yashit says Hashem Yimlech Le'olam Va'ed. Okay? So it's not one, there's no pasuk anywhere that says Hashem Melech, Hashem Malach, Hashem Yimlech Le'olam Va'ed. It's a compilation of 3 psukim.
There's Haya over the India, there's no such thing? Haya over the India?
No. When in Adayin Olam we say Vuhoya, Vuhoy, Vuhoyiyah. But that's not an attribute of Hashem that we say Chesed is what's bad. Because man begins in Malchus. And therefore the worlds are also but to one to another. Okay? In other words, a higher level of speech or thought is low. And everything is relative. A lower level compared to a higher level, so even the highest level of the Bria is lower than the lowest level of Atzilus. Okay, and therefore this is what it says, less machshava tvisa beklal. And therefore part of the meditation is to realize that we can't understand anything. Like I said, the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know anything. Therefore, it's interesting. In secular knowledge, a person's uniqueness is seichel, right? That's the atochen ladun das, right? The uniqueness of the person is his intelligence. Therefore, in the secular world, more intellect causes you more gaiva, by definition. In Yiddishkeit, it's just the opposite. More Torah has to cause more bittul. And if it doesn't, then it's not Torah. Then it's Shosh Kibbutz HaTameis. It's Shloi Lishma. Because as long as you don't realize it's Hashem's Torah, see, if you rethink, Torah is a wisdom like all other wisdoms, yeah, then the more Torah you know, the better you are. But then you forget that it's Hashem's Torah. That's why it's so important. Like we said, the land was destroyed because they didn't do Berachas HaTorah. Berachas HaTorah means you realize and feel that when you learn Torah, it's nice in HaTorah. If it's Eibishter's Torah, then anything you understand makes you realize there's more you don't understand. If Torah doesn't come into practicality, it's worthless. The Gemara says if you learn with the intent of not doing, your embryo should have never been conceived or turned over. Never. You shouldn't have never been created.
Rabbi, at the beginning you said David HaMelech said, what about son?
Shemesh umogen, pasuk in Tillim.
What does it say?
Shemesh umogen Hashem Elokim. Like the sun and the shield around the sun are the two names, Hashem and Elokim.
They knew there was a shield around the sun, they just found it out.
When did science find out that the world was round?
400 or 500 years ago.
400 or 500 years ago, yeah? Huh? Okay. That's how many years ago? 400 years ago? The Gemara speaks about Kadur Ha'aretz, the ball of the earth. In the Gemara, it already says that the world was round. The guys in the Gemara, the 10-year-old kids that learn Gemara, know what Galil, whatever his name is, figure out that 1,500 years later.
Science is proving that all the genes come from 3 mutations. Shem, Cham, Yafet.
No, I could have told you that without science. Mankind comes from Shem, Cham, and Yafet. No. Okay. So he says, I told you the story with the Rebbe Rashab when he washed with that brain.
Okay, go ahead. Say it.
When the Rebbe Rashab washed for bread, he didn't like to be disturbed until he made a meitzi. But he had a younger brother, his name was Reb Mendel. The Rebbe Rashab, there are three brothers, the Rebbe Rashab, and the Mendel. And Reb Mendel was very excited. I mean, he was an older person already, but he was very excited. He says they just found out in science, this is in Rebbe Rashab's time, that there's a vein in the head that when you look up, it helps for memory. And when you look down, it helps for intensity. Okay, they just found that out in science. So the Rebbe Rashab, the wash, he didn't, after he made a mitzi, he told them, in that bookcase, there's a sefer from the Mittel Rebbe. He took out the sefer, he opened it up, and he showed him that the Mittel Rebbe writes that there's a vein in the brain that when you look up, it helps for memory, and when you look down, it helps for intensity. Okay? And then he said to his brother, the Rebbe Rashab said, don't think that he was a doctor, but he saw the way things are up there in the Adam of Hashem, in the spiritual worlds, and therefore he understood the way it is down here. Everything's in Torah. If Torah is very simple, if Torah is the wisdom of Hashem, if Torah is the wisdom of Hashem, all wisdoms in the world come from the wisdom of Hashem. Correct? It's logical. All wisdoms come from Hashem, right? So everything comes from Hashem's wisdom. So if Hashem's Torah is Hashem's wisdom, all wisdoms in the world come from Torah. So what's the big deal? So did they know? Of course they knew. Okay. Top of the second column. Even the highest spiritual worlds, which is spiritually the concept of machshava, of thought, are completely bottled to Hashem. And they have no connection to Hashem. They don't grasp Hashem whatsoever. Thought, it's impossible to grasp something higher than thought. So even machshava, which represents the highest worlds of Bria, or all those spiritual worlds, are nothing compared to Hashem, because Hashem is infinitely greater than thought. The steam, the whole steam, hidden of all hidden. Tamid, the whole tamid, hidden, concealed of all concealment. Even, not only is Hashem hidden from the revealed worlds, but even from the hidden worlds, He is hidden. Stima, the whole stima means hidden of all the hiddens. That means even the highest levels of Elokus that can't be revealed are also completely nothing compared to Hashem. And that's the mitzvah of Yohavta Hashem Elokechem. And we learned yesterday, the Maggid asked, how can you command somebody to love? And the answer is to meditate, and that will cause you to love. So the Rabbi to explain what's the meditation. The meditation is the realization that there is Einod Mavadeh, that there is no world. The world is completely bottled. Not only is it bottled to Hashem, the highest of worlds are all bottled to Hashem.
On one side it says you don't understand it, and the other side says meditate that you understand.
No! Meditate that you don't understand.
Actually, meditate, I have to say that.
Seichel demands that we don't understand. Even doctors who think they're God's gift to the world, lawyers who think they're God's gift to the world, also realize there are things they don't understand.
Of course.
Okay? Any seichel that doesn't realize there's things we don't understand is an idiot and a fool. He's not a chacham. Any chacham realizes there's so many things that are unanswered. So seichel demands into something above seichel. So what's the ultimate meditation? The ultimate meditation is that there are things above seichel that we have no comprehension whatsoever what it is, but the comprehension demands from us to realize Einod Milvadeh. We can't understand infinite, right? A human mind, which is finite, cannot understand infinite. Yeah, we can understand not only the concept, we can understand that Hashem is above infinite and finite simultaneously. We don't even understand infinite. How can you understand that Hashem is above infinite? We can meditate and realize that we don't understand. And if he's above, one thing we could understand. If he is above infinite, wow. So Einay Mulvadi.
Give up trying to understand.
Yeah, you just don't, why waste your time? Just say, I don't understand, and that's it.
Why was that?
The not understanding of a fool is not the same not understanding of a brilliant man. I told many times, Rabbi Kiva Eger was once in a city, simple Jews, they were learning Gemara. Okay, there was a guy, Rabbi, teaching people about them. They were learning how to do Gemara class. And the Rabbi was teaching the Gemara, and the guys understood, and they closed the Gemara, they went home, and Rabbi Kiva Eger started crying. He said, look at this, these simple Jews understand the Gemara, and I don't begin to understand it. He was crying, look at this, these simple Jews understand the Gemara, and I don't. But their understanding doesn't come to the heel of his not understanding.
Where are we going with this? So we are a bunch of stupid people. What is Alter Rebbe trying to do?
No, that we need to realize that we don't understand anything, Einay Mulvadi.